Something is happening with Dan Abnett, Games Workshop, Pandemonium 3. We've just got a brand new post of Dan Abnett, which is literally opening the doors to foil videos, conspiracies, everything like that. So we're going to jump in, we're going to go through it all, because to me, this is a massive link now towards the future of the Amazon project. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. So let's jump over to this window, and this is the context of the post. Broadside Game Show 2025. It's like, does like bolt action, everything like that, sci-fi games and everything. And they've posted, look, the first post of the new season, and it's a big one. We are very pleased to announce that we've invited a special guest to this year's show, and it's basically Dan Abnett. He's going to be there. He's going to be answering a bunch of questions, which if you've been to a seminar before with Dan Abnett, he is absolutely open to talking about everything. I've been to a seminar. I've asked Dan questions about Warhammer novels that he's gone into before, you know, future Warhammer novels, and he's literally put his cards on the table and says, you know, we want to bring this to it, we want to do that to it, we want to bring something, this type of stuff to it. He's even done this online with like other interviews and stuff, especially with the Pandemonium stuff. But this is now where it all changes, because Dan has then replied to this post with something which I consider a little bit spicy. So this was last night, and Dan said, this weekend, by the way, replying to that post, of course, my previous post about this event, and actually pretty much anything I post, have resulted in many comments asking for Pandemonium, Beckwin Book 3, because of course, this is the big book now, part of the Eisenhorn, Ravenor, Beckwin series. This is the ultimate, the final book. Well, we think it's the final book where everything is going to come to a head, positively demanding it, and I'm delighted you're keen, because so am I. But for those of you who don't know, it is not my in capitals, we'll get back to that in a second, decision when Pandemonium gets finished and published. For reasons, an NDA prevents him from discussing Beckwin 3, and some other things are held up for a while. It's coming, and I'll be delighted to bring it to you. But in the meantime, try to be patient and maybe try to enjoy the things that I am writing. This message was brought to you by the Peace, Love, and Shooty Kill in Space. See you Saturday. Now, of course, this post has really got my gears moving, because there's so much talk about Pandemonium. There's so much talk about the end game of this book. The speculation that we've been talking about now for years. When Dan's done interviews before and he's been able to talk about it, he's literally said he was so surprised that Games Workshop gave him the funds up to do this. This is going to be massive, groundbreaking, changing lore for Warhammer 40,000. So that's why we've been on the edge. That's why we've been on our tiptoes waiting for this book to come out to see what this big final ending, what this big lore change is going to be, and is it going to drift into the current storyline and start affecting that as well? These are the questions that we've been asking for a while, but now, of course, there's something to do with an NDA, and he can't answer those questions anymore. And I personally think this is all around the big announcement of Games Workshop working with Amazon. I've speculated, other people have speculated, that potentially that project that is happening at Amazon could be an Eisenhorn related project. We know that was an Eisenhorn related project in production at another company, but that fizzled away. Maybe now that is gone over to Amazon and they're building the foundations up for it over there, and Dan can't talk about it because maybe he's one of the script writers, one of the screenwriters, something to do with the Amazon project that involves Ravenor, Eisenhorn, Beckwin, and this is why this NDA is in place. Or maybe simply Games Workshop has said, Dan, shut your gob, you've been giving away too many things, too many people are talking about this, you know, big changes to the law, and we don't want you to talk about it anymore. Maybe that is the case, but something deep down inside of there, the foil is just raging to get out and say, there is more to this, Valrak. Something bigger is attached to this statement. Now, one of the other things about this is Dan's statement about it's not his decision. It states, for those of you who don't know, it is not my decision when Pandemonium gets finished and published. My is in massive capitals, saying, look, listen, if it was me, it'd be out there right now. I'd have it finished. I am not George R.R.R. Martin, okay? I'd want to get the book out, show it you all, but obviously it's someone higher up, someone at Black Library, someone higher manager at Games Workshop saying, listen, we're not ready for this book to come out. And why? Why is that? Because we know the Eisenhorn, Ravener, the Beckwin books are probably the flagship books at Games Workshop. It makes them mega books. So there must be a reason why they're halting this for now and saying, not yet done. Maybe, just maybe again, going down the foily hole, that all this is linked to Amazon, the Henry Project, and they're slowly building that up, and they want to release the book, maybe at the same time as an announcement for the show, the hype for the show, to get people's interest in there, saying, okay, this is coming out, that's coming out at the same time. Maybe get the first season out and then get the Beckwin book out. So there's so much hype around it. Maybe he hasn't finished it because they don't want to finish this series. They want more stories to come from this Ravener, Eisenhorn, Beckwin series that then bleeds into the 40k story that we're currently having now. There's so many more questions coming from this than answers. Dan, I absolutely love you, but this post has sent me foil crazy. Am I strange? Am I weird? Probably yes, but surely people can see between the lines of this. An NDA, Dan saying it's not his decision. There's something happening with this Beckwin book. Again, I'll say it. Dan has come out on previous interviews and stated this is going to be massive lore changes. Changes that could shake the foundations of Warhammer 40,000, which I'm hoping bleeds into the current narrative so we get even more epic stories around then. Because for people who don't know, the Eisenhorn, Ravener, Beckwin stuff happens around 300-400 years before the return of Gilliman, but you have, you know, the City in Dust, the Shadow Realm, as I like to call it, the same City in Dust that was in The End in the Death, the Abnett verse, as I like to talk about. All these stories are slowly connecting the dots, and we're having another story in 40k that is literally the foundation now of potentially this big Amazon project. That's the way I see it. That's what I think that is going down. Maybe I'm insane, maybe I'm mad, but this just lights a fire in me. NDAs and stuff like that. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. Am I looking too much into this? Do you think there's more to this than meets the eye? Why is Dan not allowed to talk about Pandemonium anymore? Why can't he talk about it, Games Workshop? What are you hiding in your secret loot bag? If anyone is going to this event, by the way, of course, don't ask him about Pandemonium because he's not allowed to talk about it. But if anyone is going to it, ask him about the Scouring series, because I know for a fact they are working on that Scouring series, and maybe Dan is, well, that's going to be one of his next big books coming out, because the Horus Heresy is literally now ended. The Siege of Terror series is literally ended. We're about to get that anthology book when Games Workshop pull their finger out their ass and actually put it on their website, and that is it then. That is done. And we're on to the next big series. Dawn of Fire is about to end, so the next big series should be announced soon, and it could be Scouring. I don't know, maybe it could be the Beckwin book. It's just mind-boggling. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. For me, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, as always. Have a great day. See you now, and bye-bye.